Hey, it's Jason again from Fraser Valley Rose Farm. Well, I guess you probably didn't expect me to start doing inside videos until winter again, but I had some questions from people on the channel who asked whether they can grow roses inside. And I was going to go through the sort of short answer of that question, which is that roses really appreciate the conditions they get outside. They like the high light intensity. They like the good air circulation. They don't typically like indoor humidity levels. And that would have been the video. But then I got to thinking that isn't a very useful answer for people who want to try it. So I reached out to the people at Mars Hydro who agreed to send me a grow lamp, an LED grow lamp, a high efficiency lamp, so that I could provide those high intensity, that high intensity of light that the roses would appreciate, and I can try to do this. So instead of just talking about it, I actually have something to do on this video, which makes it a lot more interesting. So I'm going to go through with you, obviously, the specs of that light that they sent me so you can know how I decided it was suitable for this purpose. But also, I'm going to take you through the experiment that I'm running here, which is a side-by-side comparison between a set grow area, in this case a little over 2 feet by 2 feet. I'm going to set it up on the inside here. I'll also set up the equivalent space on the outside there with the exact same plants, and I'll run that trial until I can see a difference between how they're growing. All right, I thought it only appropriate I go outside to talk about the conditions that I'm going to have to replicate inside if I want to be successful in growing my roses. Obviously, sunlight is one of the major limiting factors, but it's not the only one. You know from my previous videos, I'm a big fan of you keeping your roses in containers for a while you get to know each other. In that case, when you put them into a container, you're taking over the responsibility for the soil moisture, for feeding the plant. When you go inside, you have to take care of the air as well. So in terms of air, I mean, how you see behind me this gentle breeze that's pushing this rose around. That air circulation is good for roses. Also humidity, and I need to touch on this because indoor humidity levels aren't always the same as outdoor humidity levels. Indoor tends to be a little bit lower, particularly if you're using air conditioning indoors. So your optimum humidity for growing plants might be between 50 and 60%. And you can see on this humidity meter, it's like 46, 47 right now. Inside, that can tend to be a lot lower, particularly in winter, particularly when you're using air conditioning, you might be down to 30 or 40%. So in the case of that tent that I'm using in there, I'm going to close that up, and that will bring up the humidity level automatically. I'll be using this sensor to manage that, but I also have to do something to increase the air circulation in there, so I'll be troubleshooting that as I go along. But like I say, the most important limiting factor, the one that most people are going to have the hardest time supplementing inside, is that high level of light. So let's go on inside, have a look at the lamp that I'm using to try to replace that intense sunlight. So I've turned on the lamp now, and I actually had to close the tent so you could even see me. I was turning him into a silhouette. It was so bright behind me here, but I will open the door a sliver so you can see. And you'll note that there's lots for the roses to work with there. That's a bright, high-intensity light. The model of the lamp is the Mars Hydro TS1000W, in case you're looking for it. But it's a 150 watt lamp. I tested the output. It came in at 148, so it was listed at 150. It came in at 148, so really reliable to the numbers. I hope you don't mind I don't go through all the specs on the lighting. It isn't that kind of an unboxing video. I'd rather get straight to the plants. But what I will say is that I checked the reviews from people I trust within the lighting industry, and they actually tested it out with its spectrum output and with its efficiency, and the general conclusion is that it is a high efficiency lamp and that it's an excellent value for money, so I'm happy to feature it here. What I've done for this trial is the exact same footprint that's included in the inside grow tent there. I've replicated that space out here on one of my outdoor benches, even taped it off. And what I'm going to do is I'll put one each of a few different varieties of rose. This one here, for instance, Sophie's Perpetual, usually pretty quick to flower. And I checked to see, these were potted at the same time. I checked to see that the roots are the same stage. The top growth was about equivalent. I trimmed it down to be exactly even. In addition, I took a couple of cuttings, things that were just barely rooted, just in their pot, rooted to the bottom, stuck them into pots here. I want to see how the cuttings, the young cuttings, react to that higher light intensity, see if it speeds on their growth. I have these ones set up out here, and in here I have them set up in the exact same configuration. 4 pots across, 4 pots back, a total of 16 roses in the enclosure. All the ones on the left here are roses that have been potted from the previous, well, at least from this spring, so they're well established in the pots. All of the ones on the right here are new seedlings. I want to see the effect that this has on how well they grow and establish in those pots and rooting. All right, I guess I don't have much else to say except ready, set, and go, guys. I will say one last thing, which is I do greatly appreciate the support that Mars Hydro has provided me in getting me this lamp. If you are at all interested in their products and getting yourself a grow lamp or trying out something like this, I'll include links below this video in the comments about their site and which lamps I can recommend on there. There's this lamp here, which is really good. There's also their SP series, which is actually slightly higher efficiency, at least by rating, and a slightly more attractive fixture as well. So I'll include links to those. If you want to buy one of those, there's a promo code below. ROSE is in it. Go figure. And if you use the ROSE coupon code, all capital letters, they will kick back to me, which is a nice way of you supporting this channel while just doing whatever hobby gardening you would have liked to have done anyway. So as long as you're growing plants and enjoying it and get a lamp that can help you to do that, happy to see you spend your money there, and that's a way of you supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to do a follow-up on this as required, as I say, 3 to 4 weeks, and at the same time as I do that, as I show you how these have bloomed and how it's come through from the growing, how the rooting has done on these seedlings, then I'll also talk to you about what else I had to do to control humidity, get airflow through here, and also any pest or disease issues that I had while growing in the grow tent. All right, thanks for watching.